Isolate the audio. Give me a close-up on his torso.
That was a scene from 1998's The Truman Show. Jim Carrey played Truman, a man who learns his entire life from the time he was born has been the subject of a reality TV show watched by millions of people. But before that film hit theaters, a real-life Truman Show was already taking place across the globe in Japan. Except instead of Truman, there was Nasabi, a 22-year-old aspiring comedian who found himself an unwitting participant on a twisted reality show. It's the subject of a new documentary on Hulu called The Contestant.
Devin, yeah, the tribe has spoken.
Years before Survivor and Naked and Afraid,
There's a bird in it.
there was Dimpa Shonen. The series tested the limits of contestants like Tamaki Hamatsu, nicknamed Nasubi. In 1998, the comedian won an audition for a new segment called A Life in Prizes. He was blindfolded, dropped into an empty apartment, no bed, no TV, and then stripped naked. His objective? Win essentials like food, even toilet paper, through mail-in sweepstakes. Unbeknownst to him, the show was broadcast weekly across Japan to more than 15 million viewers.
I never thought that I was a contestant.
It's all the subject of the new film, The Contestant. You can understand me, correct? A little bit. We spoke to a now 48-year-old Nasabi through an interpreter at the Barrymore Film Center in Fort Lee, New Jersey.
I watched a little bit of it at first, but it brought back all kinds of painful memories, so I couldn't watch all of it.
Memories of his 15 months in isolation. That first day, inside that room, what were you thinking?
The producers didn't give me any detailed explanations, so I was very concerned and confused about how I was going to survive in this space.
They said that he needed to win everything he needed to survive through magazine competitions, the kind of competitions you have in the backs of magazines in the late 90s.
British filmmaker Claire Titley launched the project.
There was a pile of magazines in the corner and a phone and a pile of postcards.
My head is full of thoughts of food. It doesn't matter what, but please let me win something.
And I think the other key thing that makes this particular experiment unique to almost all other reality TV shows is that he was on his own.
No lifeline, no co-contestant. He was all by himself.
No, he had a telephone and they said, if there's an emergency, you can call us, but don't call us for anything else.
In order to win the game and his freedom, Nasabi had to earn 1 million yen worth of sweepstakes prizes, the equivalent of $8,000 in US dollars back in 1998.
However, I definitely understood that if I didn't write these postcards, I wouldn't be able to live.
He wrote 300 sweepstakes entries a day. Still, it took him 3 weeks to win his first prize. Producers fed him crackers to prevent starvation. What day were you like, what have I gotten myself into?
At first, I was excited, and I was thinking about all kinds of things, like how to do something funny in this space. After about a week, I began to worry about whether I could really continue this on my own. But the hardest part was definitely the loneliness.
Loneliness.
I couldn't quite overcome that feeling.
It's upsetting in a lot of ways. What this producer and all the people who worked for him did to this poor guy.
Film and media critic Matt Singer writes for the movie website ScreenCrush.com.
You watch his body sort of deteriorating before your eyes. He can only eat what he wins, which includes like dog food. I'm certainly worried about him as I'm watching the film.
Most surprising, showrunner and Japanese Uber producer Toshiya Tsuchiya agreed to be interviewed for the documentary.
ほとんど放送しないんだよいうのをって言ってるわけですよね。人間は ほとんど放送されないんだからカメラを意識するのをやめるんですよね。そこでいろんなことが、映ってくる。
Would you categorize his situation as being tricked, lied to, misrepresented?
Yes, yes, yes. He was definitely all of those things, particularly misrepresented. All the audience saw was the kind of edited down highlights to make it look funny. They didn't show all the bits of him looking sad or doing kind of mundane things or, basically naked alone in a room.
Did they cross a moral line, an ethical line? I can't think of a line they didn't cross from that regard. I mean, certainly when you say that you're going to stick a guy in a room and not tell him that you're going to be airing this humiliating footage day after day after day, to me, that kind of crosses a line, yes.
An emotional mind game when realizing Nasabi's door was unlocked the whole time.
Why didn't you just open the door?
何度も逃げることも考え
I thought about running away so many times, but there was also the fact that I was naked. So if I ran outside, I might get arrested by the police.
But Nasabi stuck it out 1 year and 3 months until the series finale, when producers unveiled him naked in front of a live studio audience.
All the Japanese people that I've spoken to who watched at the time were not aware that Nasabi was not aware that he was being aired on television. And that's quite a key thing.
In the 25 years since, Nasabi has worked through his demons.
もちろん僕はもちろん
Of course, there was a part of me that was deeply traumatized, and that left a big hole in my heart.
負ってしまった部分はあるんですけれど
But after some time has passed, this experience has become very useful to me, and it has become a great strength that has guided me to the next step.
役に立って
That next step included using his fame to help others, including the victims of the Fukushima earthquake and tsunami. But I couldn't let Nasabi go without asking about that fictionalized version of himself.
Did you ever see The Truman Show?
Yes 自分が
I happened to watch it after I wrapped up the sweepstakes life. I think I'm the only person who can understand his emotions.
I think Truman got off way easier than you did. And the fact that he can laugh says so much about his recovery, his ability to move beyond that point. But I mean, I was still puzzled by someone who could allow themselves to be controlled in that way. And I think that is the question that a lot of people will come out asking.
It seemed really cruel.
And gross.
And the whole time I was watching, I'm like, really? And so many questions, like you said, that we don't have time for, but it is amazing that he's okay now and has come to terms with it, I guess.
He's even climbed Mount Everest 3 times as a part of his mission to help folks in his hometown of Fukushima.
By the way.
By the way.
Good for him.